You're listening to LSPN, the authority on sports-related podcasts.
Welcome to the Lufkin Football Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Have you tasted the good news? Whataburger's beloved jalapeno cheddar biscuit is back. A classic biscuit with shredded cheddar and chopped jalapenos baked right in. Try one alone or in a biscuit sandwich, however you like it. Served 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. for a limited time only at participating locations. Come by and see any of their 3 locations in Lufkin. All right, everybody join me in welcoming Coach Carl Abseck to the show. Coach, how are things?
Oh, it's going all right.
The sting is over a little bit by now, right? But I'm sure not completely, right?
Right. I mean, it's you do this from August until whenever it ends, and it's kind of an adjustment after that because you go from working 7 days a week to not. So yeah, it's okay. So
talk to me about Weiss. Are they that good? Because wow, that was quite a spread there.
No, I think they're pretty talented. They're probably one of the most talented, if not the most talented team, right there with Port Arthur that we played all year long.
Right.
And they played really, really well that night. I think they're on a roll. I mean, they played, exceptionally well the second half against LaPorte and came back from, down 21 in the second half and then carried that over to our game and they're really hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah. So they're timing it just right. So talk to me about your players in that game, how they did, some players who stood up.
The kids played hard. We just didn't execute quite as well offensively as we would have liked. We got a early play early on with Devon catching a big pass off from Javion to tie the score up, and then we kind of just fell off from there in terms of we weren't able to run the ball consistently. Our kids, I thought our kids played hard. We just didn't match up real well with them, and just didn't execute as well as we would have liked. But there's no question that they played hard and gave it all that they had. Javion ran the ball real well, ran for some tough yards. Kenny ran for some tough yards. Colin scored late, and really, did a good job throughout the game of just matching things up and doing what we'd asked him to do. And then defensively, we played really well all year long, and they were a tough match for us. We didn't get near as much disruption up front as we had in most of the previous games. I thought their offensive line did a really good job of neutralizing us up front, and they have several matchup issues with receivers outside between their size and speed. That we could get them in third down and just couldn't get them off the field as much as we would have liked. But there was no question our kids showed up and fought. We had a 2-hour delay getting the game kicked off from the weather, and so it's one of those deals where we got done late, but our kids fought till the end, and I was proud of them in terms of that piece.
Nice. And talk to me about the seniors, because they bought into a new system late in their high school career, but talk about the impact they had.
Oh, unbelievable, in terms of their acceptance of us and all the things that we asked them to do that maybe they hadn't been asked to do previously. I really couldn't have asked for more from them in terms of that and their response to it. It's a big adjustment going from, the familiarity of doing something a certain way for your whole life as an athlete to all of a sudden you have this huge change and there's 2 ways that can be handled and they handled it as nice as you could ask, in terms of just buying in, accepting us as people, as coaches, accepting our leadership, and then trying to do the things that we asked them to do. So I'm eternally grateful to them. They made it a fun year. We lost 30-something seniors from last year's team, 14 of which went to went to play college football at some level. And so that was a lot of openings on our team for people to step up into and rise to the occasion. And, we went 8-4, and a lot of places that'd be a great season. And here I think it was as well, but it just, it wasn't all that we wanted. But considering the losses that we had from personnel from the previous year and complete changeover with coaches, I thought those kids handled it unbelievably well.
Nice. And talk about some of those seniors. Do you know, do they have plans to play at the next level or maybe careers? What do you know about that?
There's several that would like to go play at the next level, and some of them have some things in the works. Kenny and Colin and Desmond Hood are some of the few that that have some people that are talking to them right now that will give them opportunities to take their skills to the next level. We've got Justice is going to go play in the Bayou Bowl with Hood, so there's another opportunity for those two guys to go play and show themselves out to different coaches. But, a lot of them are looking forward to going to college and getting started with their long-term goals in terms of life. And there's a few that are looking at some trade schools. So, I mean, it's a bunch of different options that kids have. And like I said, there's several that would like to go play, and so we're looking to find them the opportunities that they can get to go play at the next level.
Nice. And of your starters, I know it's way too early, but what do you have coming back?
Offensively, we have two offensive linemen, with Henson and Trejo, and then we have the two sophomore backs, Taylor and Joker, coming back. And then, for the most part, we're starting over offensively with our skill spots. Fitzgerald's back, and he's a quarterback by trade. He played some, receiver here for the last 6 weeks to help us out there. But, he's one of those guys that'll be at the front of the line, working to replace Javion at quarterback. And then, defensively, we've got a lot of kids back. I mean, we played, 4 underclassmen up front, and a couple of linebackers, and then basically the entire secondary. Everybody who played in the secondary is back for the most part, except for Phillips, I guess. And but we'll have a lot of high quality athletes to work with on the defensive side back that have some extensive experience from this year. So that part's exciting because, you can stay in a lot of games and if you play really good defense. And we did for the most part all year long. And so with those guys back, Porter and Jamarie and McKaylin and Whitaker up front, that's a great place to start. All those guys either started or played in every game. And then, the secondary with Sam and those guys back, they're going to be good. You got D-Ray back, you got Turner back, you got all kinds of guys back that'll give us experience coming back for next year. So I'm excited about those guys and what they'll bring to the table, and they'll keep us in the hunt, and as our offense develops and we bring along some younger kids to take over those spots that are being vacated by seniors.
Nice. And talk about the off season. What does that look like for the kids?
It's going to be about getting bigger, faster, and stronger, but also developing leadership amongst them, team building, and discipline. Really, we're just going to work on all phases of their development in that respect. The closer you are as a team, the harder you are to beat. We've got to continue to develop leadership amongst them because you don't want all the leadership to be coming from coaches. You want it to be coming from the kids. So those are some areas that we'll really hit hard, aside from the physical piece, of really hitting the weights hard and developing their bodies. But it'll be a full encompassing deal, and we'll have a number of kids that go to play some other sports and watch them go compete over there. I think competitors win, and So I highly encourage them to go and do other things. You know, we've got some in basketball already. We got some that'll be in baseball and then track. So we'll have kids competing all spring long.
Love that. And finally, Coach, as far as the coaching staff, you know, you mentioned you're no longer doing 7 days a week. That's a time where you, as a coaching staff, that time in the offices, in the facilities, where you really bond and you really get to hang out with each other. But as they go to their different sports, you know, what does that look like for the coaching staff?
Well, I mean, everybody, you know, for the most part, is involved in a sport in the spring, in the winter and the spring, and so, you know, they're going to go and give their all to that program and help them hopefully have success. I mean, that's the name of the game, is to go win in everything that we do and have success in everything we do. So they're going to go and do their part there, and you know, we still have everybody together for the most part during off season, so we're still there together there, developing that plan and working the kids through that plan. You know, and then again, you still, you know, I guess I brought 6 new people in, 7 new people in, and so between that and then the 10 holdovers from the previous staff, I mean, we're still developing ourselves too in terms of understanding, you know, schemes offensively, defensively, and so we'll continue to develop a greater understanding of what we want, and which will allow them to be better teachers of the game in the way that we want it to be played. And so we'll continue our development as well as a staff.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on a really good season. Obviously, it wasn't, you know, the final goal of not losing your last game, but
right.
It was a good season, and hopefully I will be talking to you well before next season, probably coaching school or somewhere.
Yes, sir. That sounds good. You know, I was, like I said, I'm proud of the kids and how we played, and look forward to bigger and better days moving forward.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.